Oh, landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess, and start tucking your shirt into your underwear instead of your pants. Become ungovernable. Anyhow, first off, subscribers, you guys are awesome. We're 13 away from 1,000 right now at the time of recording this dingus, and I am so excited. Like, I've been looking forward to that first 1,000 since I started this channel, and it's been a lot of work to get there, but at 1,000, we're doing a giveaway. Because you have to do a 1K giveaway if you got a channel. You have to. So that's been lined up and sitting since before I hit 500. But you guys are getting me there. I am so grateful. Now, all that out of the way. Last night we did a live stream and we did our cardboard slayer, and the 20-sided die picked the Harbor Freight Gordon GK23. And let's take a look at what we got. So first and most important, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. It could be left-handed or right-handed, and it could be tip down. And I hate tip down, but we all live in sin. It's got a flipper tab, so let's flick the bean. You got a little less than 3 inches of blade to work with here. You got a bit of a hollow grind. It's a more pronounced hollow grind than I get off of a lot of these cheap blades. Like, it's not, it's nothing egregious, but it is a little bit deeper of a hollow grind. And the more I'm doing stuff like this and the more I carry these, the more I'm starting to prefer a full flat grind. Not much wrong with a hollow grind. I'm just starting to like the full flat grind a little bit better. And the blade is 8CR13. And we did our traditional 4-hour stream, and the edge did what 8CR13 always does. It lasted about 2.5 hours. I think it was around the 2-hour, 20-minute mark before there was significant enough edge wear that we needed to strop. And I'm starting to get a better feel for when we need to strop the more I do this. And this thing, about the exact same amount of time as our other 8CR13 blades have done, which, so that means I'm happy with the blade. I'm happy with the heat treatment. I'm happy with the edge retention for what it is. It did good. And I stropped the bejesus out of it, and we started cutting again and ran the rest of the live stream. Now, one thing to point out, and I keep forgetting to mention on these aftermath videos, I think, is normally when we do this, even with decent ergonomics, either this right here is numb for like 2, maybe 3 days, or this, or this. They just stay numb for a while from the amount of pressure holding it and hitting weird spots on the ergos. They're designed for a grip like this while you're cutting and doing stuff with it, or like this, it's designed for certain kind of grips, but, gripping it like this and having your finger ride in this channel right here for 4 hours of push cutting really hard, not necessarily designed for it. And in this case, I don't have that after doing the live stream last night. Like, the ergos were amazing the whole time. It was not uncomfortable during that entire experience. I'm developing a callus right here. I don't know if it'll show up properly, but a callus from sitting in the space between the liners on every single one of these live streams, and that didn't start hurting. Like, the ergos on this are phenomenal. I expected them to be pretty good going into it, but I also expected after, 2.5, 3 hours, stuff was going to rub in hot spot, and the only thing I got was I felt it get rubbed here, but it wasn't painful. It wasn't a hot spot. It's just me holding it for that long. I think the only other thing that this is close to for the ergos and the comfort was that Buck 110. That Buck 110, there was absolutely nothing. That was a pleasure to cut with all night, and this is right there with it. The only difference is I felt where it rubbed here a little bit. And again, no hot spot. It wasn't painful. I just knew it was there. So, that is a huge, huge plus for this thing, I've got knives that cost 3, 4, 5 times as much that don't have ergonomics this damn good. I am thoroughly, thoroughly impressed. And going in with the hollow grind going into the swedge, the cut did kind of trail side to side a little bit going through the cardboard, which made some of the cuts more difficult. But, nowhere near as bad as the hollow grind and the swedge / top hollow grind on the Boker Kalashnikov we did. I think last week's knife was also one that had a bit of a hollow into a swedge. I don't remember right off the top of my head. But, with this hollow in the swedge, it kind of trails side to side through your cuts a little bit. This one was nowhere near as egregious as some of the others have been, so that's pretty good. The more I do this and the more I carry, the more I'm starting to prefer a full flat grind over the hollows. But of course, the hollows are easier to do from the factory. You got two wheels coming in together with your abrasive medium on them, and you can just drag it through there and put your hollow grind on it. So I mean, that's a lot easier to do in a factory than a full flat. So like, $10, you're probably gonna get a hollow grind on it. That's just how things go. But we stropped it at the 2.5 hour mark and put an edge back on it. Now I will say the edge from the factory, it was a low grit profiling. When they ground the edge, they used the low grit. You could very easily see the lines, and it was a very satiny finish all the way along the length of the edge. Before I started the stream, I stropped the bejesus out of it because it already went through a mild cardboard slayer. I think it probably ate 50 to 75 cuts in cardboard, just going until it stopped shaving and the cut on copy paper started getting a little bit loud. And that's still enough edge wear that I didn't want to start there. And of course, this hasn't been carried since Super Budget Showdown because so much stuff's coming into carry, so it hasn't been sharpened since then. But, it responded to the strop pretty well. And then at the end of the stream, we stropped the crap out of it again. And, it did what HCR13 does. And it picked up a pretty good edge off the strop. And of course these cuts are difficult on camera because the paper's kind of folded over a little bit. But there is some edge wear still here on the dingus end of the tip where the cuts started. And of course that would really, really warrant some love from the work sharp to get her back into shape and get her happy again. And I'm just going to cut this because I want to. There's no resistance. There's just that weird bite from where the paper's sitting kind of funny and not being held straight up, free floating in the air. So this thing did fantastic. Like, if you're at Harbor Freight, go check out the knives and grab one of these. Like the guys on the end of the live stream are like, yeah, I'm buying 4 of those as soon as I find them. And while I can't get myself to start buying 4 or 5 of the same knife just because I got so many to carry, I kind of get it. You got one you can throw in your pocket and carry. You got one that you can throw in your car, one for your toolbox. Like, these are great abuse and abandon deals. And by the way, when I carried this in the waistband for the week of testing for Super Budget Showdown, speaking of which, if you check my playlist, you can see the Super Budget Showdown. I'd love it if you watched it. That was 10 weeks of work. It was interesting. But in the waistband, no discomfort, no digging, no rubbing. Like, it did very, very well. The pocket clip is quite skookum. Nice strong retention, and it's lifted up enough right here, the right way right here, to catch on the hem of your pocket really easily. It did great there too. But yeah, the ergos are fantastic. If you're at Harbor Freight, grab one. You're not going to regret it. This is also one that I could travel with. And, if you haven't seen me talk about it before, there are knives that if I have to leave town for a week or two, and I don't want to carry good knives anymore. I was at a wedding. We stayed the night in a hotel, and I lost my favorite multi-tool ever. And that was partly because I was completely hammered and don't know where I left it, and it was gone the next day. Never found it. So, I don't carry nice stuff when I'm out traveling like that. If I'm somewhere local and I'm not going to be, out there for a few days, yeah, I'll carry whatever I want. But I could carry this and not really feel like I'm missing out on anything from the nicer knives outside of it being a little flashy. One thing this is not is flashy. Like, this is the most generic looking knife on the planet. And, I'd love to see one of these with nicer materials, a little bit more design flourish, just some cooler stuff for 20, 25 bucks. That'd be awesome to have this in D2 and just a cooler looking handle. Still the same shape, but just something to make it stand out. Nothing visually stands out about this at all. But for 10 bucks, you get fantastic ergonomics. You get a pocket clip that can go wherever you want. You get a blade with HCR13 that'll hold up to some abuse and be okay. And that's incredible value for the money. Like, I was blown away when I did the Super Budget Showdown. I was blown away when I first got it. It blows me away off a cardboard slayer. And the weirdest thing is, this thing's been around for a few years, and out of nowhere, it caught a ton of hype in a couple of Facebook groups, and the guys would not shut up about it, and I didn't get the hype. Oh, no, $10 knife, who cares? And then I got it, and I understand the hype now. This is fantastic. I've done a few videos on it, but, I wanted to throw it in cardboard slayer, see how it do, and again, I cannot believe fingertips aren't numb, there's no hot spots from it, nothing. The ergos are amazing. So, I wanted to do what I do and share the aftermath of Cardboard Slayer with you guys so you can see what this actually does. We do Cardboard Slayer to test the edge because I see a lot of channels do reviews without really pushing it in some way. There are channels that do, and they do a better job pushing it than I do, but I don't have the materials or filming set up to do much more besides Cardboard Slayer. And a lot of us are concrete cowboys. Like, we're not out there in places where we really, really have to thrash a blade unless we want to. So, I feel like that's a pretty good metric. But, all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. I can't thank you enough for getting us so close to 1,000. I hope we go over that 1,000 mark soon. I've got to do that giveaway. It's lined up. One of my favorite budget knives I've ever found. That should be a good time with the giveaway. Comments. Let me know what you think about this thing. I know a bunch of you have them, and I know some of y'all have thought about getting it. What do you think about this or pretty much anything else? But yeah, all that being said, y'all have a nice day.